I love Pixar and I love Toy Story. I always have. And in celebration of Toy Story 4, I've assembled a bunch of YouTube creators to come together and to make videos about their favorite scenes in all of Pixar. All of us have released a video at the exact same time under the title Pixar Perception. And we made a playlist of all those videos for you to enjoy so you can get hyped about Pixar and Toy Story 4 as well. I'll leave a link in the description down below to that playlist, or click the eye in the upper right hand corner of this video and you'll see the playlist there. For me, Toy Story has been a part of most of my life, and I don't think there's a better franchise in the history of cinema than Toy Story. And it gets no better than the ending of Toy Story 3, or a scene called So Long, Partner. I'll put the ending of Toy Story 3 up against any film, Pixar or not, as one of the best endings to a movie or to an entire trilogy. It's bittersweet storytelling at its finest. In fact, I remember being in the theater and after watching this scene, still crying for the next 10 minutes through the credits of the film. That's how powerful this scene is. The scene begins with Andy pulling up to Bonnie Anderson's house. He's about to leave for college and thought it would be a good idea to leave some of his old toys with a family friend. He sits down in the middle of the Anderson family yard with Bonnie standing a little bit afraid behind her mother. When Andy opens the box, he brings out his toys one by one and celebrates them, showing Bonnie the love and care that he's had for these toys. Reluctantly, Andy hands over Woody last, as he was surprised that Woody even made it into the box. And he spends the rest of the afternoon with Bonnie and his old toys, playing one last time before getting in his car and driving off to college. After all the humans are gone, Woody wakes up and looks back at Andy's car driving off in the distance, and he says one line, "So long, partner." The scene is packed with so much emotion and is the culmination of both Woody's story and Andy's story. There's so much to explore in this scene that I think it's best to look at it in three different ways. From the perspective of Bonnie, Andy, and Woody and the rest of the toys. Let's start with Bonnie. She has no real relationship to Andy. She's a 4-year-old girl and he is a 17-year-old teen going off to college. But her mother and Andy's mother are friends. That's the only connection that they have. Unsure of Andy, she hides behind her mom until Andy sits down and breaks common ground, his toys. Then she starts to make her way towards Andy and they make a connection. They spend the afternoon playing together, and in that moment, we see that age probably doesn't matter as much as we think it does. No matter our age, race, gender, or whatever, as long as we can find common ground with each other, we can connect as humans. When Andy is getting into his car and about to leave, Bonnie's holding both Buzz and Woody. She grabs Woody's hand and waves goodbye to Andy. It's a gesture that a lot of kids do. They'll grab their favorite toy, or maybe a cat or a dog, and wave their arm goodbye. But it's also suggested in that moment that Bonnie's the new owner of these toys, and that we can be assured these toys will be safe for years to come. But let's rewind here and talk about Andy, because we've spent 3 movies with this character, and there's a lot more to say when it comes to how his story plays out in this scene. First of all, to visit Bonnie, a girl that he really has had no time with throughout any of these films, and we can only assume that they don't really know each other well at all. But he trusts her enough, and he cares enough to visit Bonnie and give his toys to her instead of the Sunnyside daycare or a Goodwill or throw them away. Right away, that lets us know that his childhood toys mean more to him than most anything he's ever had. When he sits down and starts to give away his toys one by one, he describes them in the same way that we might describe a close friend or relative. And he's also not describing what these toys are, but he's describing who these toys are to him. And what makes this scene more endearing is that Andy reverts to his childhood self instead of trying to be the cool teen boy going off to college. We know that because when he brings out Ham, he doesn't describe him as just a piggy bank. He describes him as evil Dr. Porkchop, a made-up character that he enjoyed playing with in his bedroom as a child. When he gets to Woody, Bonnie gets really excited, but he takes a step back to reflect on his old childhood friend. He's reluctant at first, but then eventually hands him over, telling Bonnie that Woody will never give up on you, and that he'll always have your back no matter what. See, Woody and Andy have a really deep connection. Yes, Woody was a mass-produced doll and a popular television character, but that's not Woody to Andy. Woody is an extremely personal friend to Andy. In fact, many of Andy's toys are personal to him. The companionship and memories go well beyond the toy store aisle. Andy treats his toys like one-of-a-kind, priceless items. Because for him, the memories and good times that he's shared with them is priceless and unique. When he gets in his car to drive away and sees Bonnie wave Woody's hand goodbye, he gets a little bit emotional in that moment. He's recognizing that he's moving on to the next chapter of his life, and that Woody and the gang are no longer his toys. Andy is all grown up now, and he physically lets go of all of his toys, but they have shaped him into the person he is as he goes to college. The love that he showed his toys will be translated into new friendships and relationships. For us as the viewer, it's a time to recognize that sometimes we have to move forward in life, letting go of old physical objects, but recognizing that the memories and things that we got from those objects, we learned from. They helped us move forward, and we needed them when we needed them. For Andy, he absolutely adored his toys, and he kept them through his teen years to remind him that his family loved him enough to get those toys for him, and that he had such a strong imagination that it allowed those toys to become his friends. Lastly, we have to look at the toys, in particular Woody here. And for most of this scene, they don't come to life because they're getting played with by Bonnie and Andy. In fact, it's only Woody that speaks in this scene, and all of the toys only come to life for a brief moment. But the impact of their energy and what Woody says gives finality to this story. In the original Toy Story film, Woody is paranoid about losing his place as Andy's prized toy. He never wants to be anything else, and when he gets lost, his only objective is to get back to Andy. Woody always continues to say that he'll be there for Andy, but truthfully, Woody also needs Andy, because it gives him a sense of purpose. Woody's not comfortable with being just another toy. He has to be someone's toy. In Toy Story 2, he shows Jessie and Bullseye the light and tells them how amazing it is to be one of Andy's toys. And throughout Toy Story 3, he's unwilling to go along with the change and growth that many of the characters are going through. He doesn't want to give up on Andy, but he also knows that he needs to be there for the rest of the toys. Eventually, he embraces his own growth with a sense of maturity, realizing that he can have a purpose beyond Andy. And as the toys come to life at the end of this scene, the camera focuses in on Andy's car driving off in the distance. The camera then turns to Woody, and he says,
"So long, partner."
Those three simple words, along with the weight of everything that's happened to Woody in the three Toy Story films, gives a lot of finality to his story arc. He calls Andy his partner because he really does believe he has a deep connection and friendship with Andy. And Woody being the one to say goodbye showcases that he's ready to accept the future, while recognizing that Andy will still be with him throughout the rest of his years. And the impact that Andy has had will continue to shape Woody's life. After that line, Woody turns to Buzz and gets excited about the idea of playing with Bonnie's toys. The animators there are showing us that this isn't a sad ending, and that these characters will still go on, with a lot of play dates ahead of them. The ending of Toy Story 3 has a lot of different small emotional moments, with all of them jam-packed together, creating one of the best scenes that Pixar has ever made. The scene has a passing of the torch moment. It recognizes that non-romantic love can still be deep and meaningful. It shows that maturity comes with a sense of understanding and acceptance. And it shows that sometimes we all have to move on to the next chapters of our lives, but we won't be losing the memories of our past. The ending to this movie has more of a punch to the gut because all of the Toy Story films are animated, and animation is seen more as a children's medium. But this ending is more nuanced, mature, and grown up than most live-action movies. I mean, when was the last time that you saw a scene with this much maturity in this small amount of time? From the time that Andy arrives at Bonnie's house, to the time where the camera pans up away from the toys into the clouds, a great nod to Andy's old room, it's about 5 minutes. It's a lot to take in that short 5 minutes, but that's what's so great about Pixar. They use every single frame to further the story, giving you as much from that story as possible. For this scene in particular, they give you a sense of love, care, maturity, and closure. It's perfect. Thanks for watching this video, and again, if you'd like to check out all of the other contributors and what they put into their Pixar perception, you can find the playlist down below in the description. And there are a ton of amazing scenes to talk about and analyze in Pixar's filmography, and there weren't enough of us to even come close to touching those. So I'm putting the call out to you. If you want to be a part of the Pixar perception, I would love to add your video to the playlist. Just make a video about your favorite scene from any Pixar film, and make sure to go on Twitter and tag me at Network1901 using the hashtag PixarPerception. As soon as I can, I promise I'll add your video to the playlist. And if you want to see more in-depth videos about Pixar movies or anything under the Disney umbrella, make sure to subscribe to our channel here at Network1901 and like this video, and be sure to share it to get all of your friends and family hyped up about Pixar as well. And until next time, keep on moving, people, and so long, partner.